So let's move on to writing terminating decimals as fractions. This is a little bit easier than writing fractions as decimals. So any terminating decimal can be written as a fraction whose denominator is a power of 10. For example, we have 10, 100, 1000, and so on. So when you look at the place value of the last digit in the decimal to determine the denominator, that tells us what we're going to write the fraction over and what that denominator will be, whether it's 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, so on. So the last digit in the tenths place would be a denominator of 10, and the last digit in the hundredths place would be a denominator of 100. So whatever you say, so if you read the decimal as like something hundredths or thousandths, that's telling you what you would write your fraction over. If there is a digit to the left of the decimal, they stay a whole number. And then you put the digits to the right as the numerator over that denominator that we decided. And then you simplify it. So what I mean by that is we have negative 26 hundredths. So 26 hundredths means that I'm going to write this as a fraction over 100. And it was negative, and then 26 goes on top. So now the decimal is gone. Now I divide to simplify it. So what number goes into 26 and goes into 100? So when I divide, I'm going to divide by 2, but you divide by 2 on top and bottom. So when I simplify this fraction, that actually gives me negative. That negative has to keep coming along with us. And then 26 divided by 2 is 13. And 100 divided by 2 is 50. So 13, well, negative 13 over 50, or negative 13 fiftieths, gives us our simplified fraction. Couple things to note. If this was not simplified, you'd have to keep going until you get to the simplified form. Your negative has to go with you throughout. Write our fraction, you can write it a few ways. So that negative can either go out in front like we had it, or we can put it on top, or you can put it, oops, lost my one, on bottom. It doesn't matter where you put it. Typically Big Ideas likes it off to the side or on top, but as long as there's one negative with that fraction, that means that the whole fraction is now negative. So it doesn't matter where that fraction goes as long as you have it there. All right, so it said up here that if there's a number to the left, that stays a whole number. So in this example, we have a number to the left. We have 3. And so that 3 is going to stay. And then I'm going to write 408, and that's 408 thousandths. So this is the thousandths section, or place value. And so that means this number is going to go over 1,000. Now we can simplify this. We need to figure out what number goes into 408 and 1,000. If we didn't know, we could divide by 2 on top and bottom until we get there, because they're both even numbers. So that would give us 3, and then we would have 204 over 500, and then you could divide by 2 again, and we would get 3 and 102 over 250, and then we divide by 2 again, and we would get 51 over 125. And I forgot my 3 in there, so I'm going to add that in. And so here's my simplified fraction. Now, if you knew that 8 went into both numbers, then you would have 3 and 408 over 1,000. And you divide by 8 on top and bottom. And that would have brought you to your answer of 3 and 51 125ths. And so if you figure out your greatest common factor, your GCF, that will get you to your simplified fraction faster. However, if you don't know what number goes into the top number and the bottom number, if you just keep dividing, it will get you to the same answer. These are the same. And so whatever your process is, as long as you get to that simplified fraction, it is totally okay. All right, so now we have -1, and that's to the left, just like we said, so we keep that as a whole number. We also have to keep our negative. And then this is 6/10, because that 6 is in the 10ths place. And so we can simplify that. We're going to divide by 2 on top and bottom. So we get -1, that stays the same. And then 6 divided by 2 is 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And 3 and 5, that is as far as you can go to simplify. And so that is our answer, -1 and 3/5. So you are going to do the triads on your own and then check your answers with mine. If you need a reminder, it goes our whole numbers to the left, and then it goes the tenths, and then it goes the hundredths, and then it goes the thousandths, and then the 10,000ths, and so on. All right, get started on those triads.